What's up, guys? My name is Splattercat, and welcome back to the next episode of our LP of Expeditions, Conquistador. Now, if you had watched the last episode, you know that we got ourselves into a bit of a hairy situation. Indeed, things were murkier than the Swamp Thing's thong. I'm telling you what, I didn't think we were going to make it out of that one, no small part due to the fact that I was just tactically, well, I'm going to say that I was tactically retarded by that entire situation. I wasn't perceptive enough. I got myself into a situation that turned out to be very, very nasty. We didn't have enough traps down, and I feel like I almost owe you guys an apology for just the rampant stupidity that invaded the last episode. I watched it over and over and over again in post, and I was like, oh my god, this thing is like embarrassing to upload, but in any case, we survived it, which surprised me. You were able to fall back pretty liberally, just displacing like crazy and hoping for defilade. We managed to whittle them down with the ridiculous use of all of our lanterns. Now, that does leave us in a bit of a strange situation in that we don't really have the supplies to go into the final battle against the Aztecs, which I think we're pretty much at that point. And so what I'd like to do with this episode is we're going to do a little bit of exploration. We're going to see if we can find our way around, and we're going to see if we can actually uncover the remainder of the map before we go annihilate the Aztecs, because in the quest log here, it says that I actually want to participate in the assault of Tenochtitlan, and that's their capital, so one can only assume that when we wrap that up, the battle is going to be over for the mainland. We've got ourselves a little bit of treasure here and a little bit of medicine, some rations. We're in a decent spot, but I don't really like completely where we're at, so I do want to do a little bit of exploration. In fact, it may be a good idea to go down and do El Dorado at this point. I'm going to come collect my dues real fast. We get ourselves a little bit of oil, which is good because we need to make more lanterns. Additionally, let's see what we can make here. We can make lanterns. Let's go ahead and buy... God, those are so expensive. How many do we have? Let me go ahead and check my stocks and see what we have in terms of lanterns at the moment. I think we've only got the one. Yeah, we've got one of those, and we used up a load of cannonballs in the last battle. On the plus side, we do have loads upon loads of spike traps, which puts us in a reasonably decent spot there, so we can just over-deploy spike traps in the future and not have to worry about it. That being said, I do like to have lanterns to fall back on, just in case things get out of order. So let's check and make sure that there's nothing left to do here at the fort. And it says to visit the barracks or Miguel Sicart. That means there's nothing left to do. So what I'm going to do is let's hit the stables real fast. And once we hit the stables, that'll double our movement. And then we're going to do the best we can to make it back to the locations that we haven't discovered, to be honest. So let's take a look, and everything over here appears to pretty much be knocked out. I tried to go this way. It looked like we were more or less blocked there. We've got, what is this? The Temple of Death. We've already done that. We've already done Gutierrez's treasure, which leaves us in no small part with not a whole lot of stuff left to apply ourselves to. Now, I don't really know what's down here, so we might try and hit that on the way past. But first and foremost, let's see if we can get the Gilded Gateway to El Dorado done in this episode. So I promised we would do it. Let's make our way down there on the road to El Dorado, not the Disney El Dorado, or was that a DreamWorks movie? I can never remember if that was Disney or DreamWorks, but that movie altogether was not that great, as I recall. It came out about the same time, and I think it was animated by the same guy that did, oh, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And being a giant animation fan, I pretty much enjoy any animation that anybody puts out because it's becoming a lost art nowadays. Most people have swapped over to just doing ridiculous amounts of CG because it's easier to produce. It really is. It's more cost effective. It's easier to produce. Animation requires ridiculously huge outsourced teams in China, Japan, Korea. Basically, you have the initial art teams just draw up the rough crudes, and then from there you develop the storyboards, and then you send them on out to China, Korea. You outsource them as much as possible, Thailand, all those places where people will emulate the art and then pretty much mash out the rest of the movie for you. Now, I don't know specifically if Disney and all the major production people do this, but I would assume that they do, just because it's the only way to make the whole thing cost-effective. We almost made it back to Jalapa here. Let's rest for the eve. I probably should have pulled off the road, and I say that all the time, but all things considered, we don't have a lot to lose anyways, so our tavern is done. When you examine Citlalli, you find, much to your dismay, that her condition has deteriorated since it did yesterday. It looks like the Amazon will take a bit longer to recover than initially expected. I actually forgot that she was injured, so it's probably in our best interest. I think she was critically injured in the last episode, actually, so I should probably take care to make sure she gets the healing that she needs. I ended the episode pretty abruptly last time because I was absolutely out of time. I had to render that episode all kinds of weird, so it may come out strange. Honestly, I'm recording these all in one big bulk kind of purchase because it's easier that way, and it helps me get started on a new series, which will remain unnamed as of right now. Although I suppose with a little bit of detective work, you could figure out my main culprits. These are the travelers that we had been not bothering with lately. I'm going to take a look and see how much they want medicine. The medicine is in high demand, so this is a good opportunity for us to kind of steal some of their resources. So we'll do that right there. That'll put us back down to our safe 250 medicines that I like to carry around with me, and then we'll leave them alone. I'm going to come back over here, and we are going to trigger the quest before we head down to El Dorado. I can't guarantee if that's going to work out completely in our favor. Where is Citlalli here? Citlalli? Is she dead? Strangely enough, I don't see her on my character list. It didn't say she died, did it? Weird. I don't know if that's a bug or what that is. I think we can check our... I don't remember where it says people that are deceased. There's Isabella. Oh, she did. She died. God. Well, that's disappointing. This is why I need to take time in between each episodes. Whatever. We're almost at the end anyways. Gotta break some eggs to make an omelet. She was an amazing character, and at least we got to play around with her first before she dropped dead. I don't like it, but we'll arrange a memorial service. That's the problem with recording these things, like with a day or two in between recording each episode, is that it's difficult, and I don't have time to watch a full 40-minute episode just to get a recap, unfortunately. Life is a busy place, and you don't always have the opportunity to do the things you want to. And so between family visits and things of that nature, I just am addle-brained at the moment, but we'll rest. And we had the morale-boosting experience of laying Citlalli to rest. Not a big deal there. I'm sure my wife is pretty happy because women tend to get jealous of the women that, well, solicitation. She already tried to sleep with me, so right in front of my wife, too. Like, damn, trying to get me in trouble here. Just trying to get me murdered in my tent. And so, again, Tepictoten comes out of the palace to meet you in the courtyard and leads you inside. He walks at a brisk pace, hands mostly folded on his stomach, but occasionally flitting up to rub one of his earlobes. Good to see that you have returned safely, my friend. You are confident that your fortress will withstand any potential Aztec attack. Well, but in fact, we just defended the fortress. Tepictoten shakes his head. He looks quite distracted. Marvelous, marvelous. We march on to Noctiland then. You will be with us until the end, I hope. Your army is quite large. I doubt my small group would make much of a difference, but yeah, I mean, we'll be with you until the end. With its earthen causeways, Noctiland is dangerously defendable. We will launch 1,000 canoes across Lake Texcoco to draw the majority of the Aztec force away from the island. You will lead the first assault across the causeways. That sounds risky. That sounds like Aztec D-Day. You get your ass cheeks shot off and spend the rest of your life saying, I lost both ass cheeks in the Great War. Got the left one shot off in the first battle, and 2 months later I got the second one shot off, and now my pants don't fit right. But in any case, it is risky. He says, yes, but the risky is a bit of a specialty of yours, is it not? Once you are inside the city, you will take the palace while the main body of my army secures the city. The objective is to kill or capture Moctezuma. When we have the emperor, we have the city. When do we leave? As soon as possible. When you leave here, I will give the word and my army will march to Noctiland. We will secure the shore of the lake and establish our encampment there so that we are ready to attack when you are. Then I shall make my own preparations. Good luck, chieftain. So we're going to head down there, but we're going to do El Dorado first. So now that we're on our way, let's go ahead and head down to El Dorado, hopefully not getting in too much trouble along the way. I do want to make sure to grab as many of these nodes as possible while we're headed down that way, because we do have a lot of supplies that we need to craft. It's not going to kill us to make ourselves some more cannonballs, but more importantly, making some more lanterns, because those seem to be the oh shit button, or the oh shit handle of this game. If you guys have ever ridden in a car with an erratically driving friend, the oh shit handle is the thing that's up by the window that you grab onto instinctively when you feel like your life is at risk. I'm going to pull off the road here for just a moment before we go much further. We can make 2 more lanterns, which leaves us at 3 lanterns, which in all honesty is probably going to help us keep safe. I'm not going to stress too much about it. We'll have her double up and help with the lanterns. What is Barreto tinkering with at the moment? He's working on that. Whatever. Get him on tinkering with another lantern. I want to get all this construction done up front. So we get 3 lanterns, 4 medicine, and our hunting party discovers enough food for the next day. Taking a look at the map, we're going to make sure that headed down this way we don't hit Noctiland. In fact, I'm actually going to try and head straight south from here, I think, and catch the road to El Dorado so that we can get ourselves a fistful of treasure and goodies before we head off to finish off to Noctiland, because I feel like the game may end abruptly on us if we do that. Additionally, we haven't explored to the southeast yet, and I don't know if the game is going to let me. I'm going to give you guys permissions to do minor spoilers, like don't spoil the storyline, but let me know if there's anything after to Noctiland, just so I know how much of a completionist I need to be before we finish off this series. Other things we might consider making, honestly, yeah, I'm not going to stress about too many other things. I'm going to get people going on... Ooh, let's go back here. I think I go by rank. Yeah, we'll go by... Well, What put everybody up at the top? By type. There we are. That's the one that I absolutely wanted. And with that all in place, we're going to get 3 meat from our hunting party, which is frankly terrible. So let's go shoot that pig real fast. Sorry, pig, you're a victim of necessity at the moment. And there's a treasure chest over here that the pig was guarding with his life, which he already gave up, which by the rules of piggy combat means that it is ours. We can claim it, rub it all over our bodies, avoiding the splinters. That's how I claim things. I just rub it all over myself. I rub it all over my man hairs. But let's see, there's another grave down there, and our gate that we want to cross through is over here to the west, and we've run out of movements once again. I'm not going to raid the burial grounds. I am going to have everybody preserve as much as possible before we head out. We got ourselves 7 more rations and 11 meat from our hunters that day, which is a pretty bitchin'. Let's see if we can... Yeah, there we go. I need to make sure that I'm headed the right way. I would hate to miss any of this at this point. And so let's cut down to the southwest here. And following this south, I'm going to check the map every day or so, and we'll just make sure that we're making good time. Make sure that we get off on the right on-ramp when it comes up, because I hate it when I miss my exit. That is just a frustrating situation, especially when it's kind of your fault, but it's kind of somebody else's fault, because then your brain naturally blames it on the other guy. Be like, he was blocking the lane. That's why I couldn't get over. It's all his fault. That natural human desire to blame other people for your problems. 14 herbs right there from that node, which are going to help us out if we ever get ourselves beat up. It's too late for Citlalli, but it's not too late for everybody else. In the better interest of my home, I allowed her to die. I'm not going to say it's ignorance. I'm going to say that she was sabotaged by my wife, Tiana. It's all her fault. Don't look at me, officer. Officer, do not look at me. I know there was arguing. I know there was problems, but this is not my thing. I did not stomp her out. We got some more rope. Unfortunately, we're not getting the oil that I desire from all of these chests. The oil is the #1 thing that I would like to see from blue chests, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be obliging. How has the weather been when you guys are leaving? How has life been? Just life in general. Life here has been humid. Right now it is like tropical weather where I'm at. It is ridiculous. I think we had 80-something% humidity today, and I went for my 3 or 4 mile run, and I was just caked in sweat, even though it wasn't even that hot. It was just the humidity in and of itself won't allow you to sweat or something. It's just miserable. Ooh, we found 7 oil. That's gonna be nice. And then we also got enough hunting meat to keep ourselves sated for the day. We lost a team member, so it's not a huge deal. I know some of you guys are grinding your teeth at this point. When you go to your dentist and be like, I see that you're grinding your teeth, and you're like, yeah, I found this LP'er, and he just screws up all the time, and I just don't know what to do with him. I don't know what to do with him. I think he might be hopeless, and he's also damaging my dental health. But it's okay. I love you guys, maybe. Kind of. Unless you do terrible things next to the kindergarten, and then you're absolutely thrown out to the wolves. I can't help you there. I have no relation with you whatsoever. Now, I think we're on the right path to get to El Dorado, and seeing as we're about to come into a handful of riches, it would do well for everybody in my party to endear themselves to me. I noticed they've been leaving cupcakes outside my tent, pastries, delicious, wonderful things that smell good in the morning for breakfast. Let's see, we got 190 valuables. Our hunting party didn't go so well. Did we get the right exit? We did. Alright, so good. We're actually going to keep ourselves well stocked for the time being. These long excursions away from town tend to be sort of risky. It depends really what your supplies are. It's also weird that we've managed to do a full conquistadorage of the entire new world in 405 days. We must be massively more efficient than everybody else they sent. I mean, when your girlfriend calls you efficient, it means that you're just absolutely just kind of embarrassed, but as a conquistador, when the generals call you efficient, then I suppose there's something to be proud of. It all depends on the context. And there's the gate we were looking for, along with a splendid little chest. I'm going to have the doctors tinker, make me a few more lanterns. Actually, let's take stock, first and foremost, of what we have. We have 5 lanterns and 3 cannonballs. I think, let's just continue making cannonballs, I suppose. Go to the camp menu, and I'm sorry, making lanterns. We'll have 2 more lanterns built with the supplies that we have. And there it is. We get 2 more lanterns, 12 meat. We'll grab this chest and hope that there will be oil inside. The screen's not scrolling for me, so I don't know what it's going to give me. And let's take a look at El Dorado here. So it looks like there's 3 segments of a wall. And I don't really know how to start this, so I suppose I'll start over here and we'll take a look. So the walls on the left side of the massive gate are adorned with 4 marvelous engravings, each shimmering with gold. We look at the first one, and it's a fabulous young boy adorned with a golden shirt and jade jewelry. He's Xochipilli, the flower prince, god of art, games, and dance. He's sitting on a bed full of the most exquisite flowers your eyes have ever seen. Look at the second one. You see a beautiful woman engraved out of a glittering collection of gemstones. It wouldn't be nearly as beautiful. It was a glittering collection of gravestones, which I almost said. That would actually be sort of morbid. Her skirt is adorned with flakes of jade. She's described as Chalchiclutli, the goddess of rivers and streams. Her face is adorned with a benevolent smile, and she sternly stares into your soul. You see a wild stream between her feet with waves of pearls splashing up against her legs. I actually don't think these are really going to have anything to do with anything. We've got these 4 pillars right here. What does this have? Approaching the overgrown structures ahead, you find a towering wall blocking your path. The wall is adorned with murals and engravings depicting multiple anthropomorphic creatures. I think we did this already. And so, though the massive structure is overgrown with vines and plants, the walls still glitter with a golden sheen. If we look at the mechanisms, let's see what they have here. Well, I don't want to do that just yet. Can I exit? Oh no, there's no backing out of it. Hold on, I don't want to do that. God, are you serious? No! I don't want to do this. I want to back out. That's a little bit absurd that I can't. I just wanted to see what the inscriptions looked like. Well, damn. Let's send somebody expendable, I suppose, because I have no clue. Send the wife! And so, she eyes the wall skeptically. Yeah, me too. I'm sorry about this. Can I back out? Oh, I can. Good. There we go. There's the back out. I apologize, developers. It's there. It's just not initially apparent. So let's look at the pillars, I suppose, because I don't think there's any pertinent glyphs anywhere else. Tayana helps you make sense of the engravings on this pillar. It tells the story of the creation of the third world. The world is plunged into darkness. The great god Lalok sacrificed herself to become the third sun. The people populated the earth, but their fate was always at the mercy of the gods. When Lalok's life was stolen and from him, he turned to despair, and a great drought followed. No rain fell on the soil. The people begged him for rain, but in his grief-stricken rage, Lalok made it rain fire, reducing all life in the world to ashes. As the world burned to cinders, Lalok rescinded his position as the solar god, and thus ended the third age of the sun. Is it just going to do that again? Okay. So I suppose we'll go and look at the other pillars, too. I don't really know what any of this has to do with anything. With the help of Tayana, you're able to check it out. From the void, the first world was created. The gods created the waters, the mountains, the forests, and the animals, but a hungry sea monster consumed their creation. We read this already. The gods had to make war against the monster. I'll do it just for continuity, but after an endless struggle, they were last victorious. The gods created the world on top of a great beast, and the people were formed to populate the new world. But the world was in darkness, as there was no light in the universe. Nothing could live, and nothing could grow without it. The great god of the north, Tezcatlipoca, saw this and sacrificed himself to become the first sun. This sparked the first age, and it was a prosperous time. The people thrived and revered their gods. And so, this would not last. As the gods were fickle and quick to anger, the first sun was destroyed by a rivalry among the gods, and in this rage, Tezcatlipoca commanded Tehuantl to eat all the people in the world. Thus ended the first age of the sun. Okay. Read the glyphs here. After the first age, the world was thrown into darkness and no life could exist. Quetzalcoatl, the god of wind, saw his plight and sacrificed himself to become the second sun. The people populated the earth once again, and all was well in the second age of the sun, but the people became rebellious and stopped worshipping the gods. The gods in turn became wrathful at this lack of veneration. As punishment, they turned the people into apes, and they had become nothing but animals in their eyes. Quetzalcoatl was filled with grief as he had loved his flawed people, and in his despair, he summoned a hurricane that blew all the apes from the surface of the earth. And let's see here. Oh, filled with sorrow, Quetzalcoatl stepped down as the Lord of Light, thus ending the second age of the sun. Darkness enveloped the world once more. Alrighty. The pillar is surrounded by... Yeah, we know this part. Tayana, translate. After the third age, no light shone on the world. The beautiful goddess Chalchiclutli took charge and sacrificed herself to become the fourth sun. Hooked on Aztec phonics worked for me. Chachatlacu shone brightly in the sky, her jade skirt giving warmth and light to all the people who once more thrived in the earth. So what you're telling me is her nethers glowed like the sun. It's an interesting way to sunbathe, but whatever. She was as loving as she was loved, and the fourth age of the sun was a bountiful age. But this could not last as the gods grew jealous of her adoration. They accused her of deceiving her people, alleging that her kindness was dishonest, and she egotistically acted only to receive praise. Upon hearing this, Chalchitlacu was so heartbroken by their accusations that she cried blood for a half an age, drowning everyone on earth. That seems like a little bit of collateral damage for hurt feelings. She got nothing on Superman. As she could no longer bear the allegations against her, she returned to Earth, thus ending the fourth age of the sun. Well, considering all of these had animals on them, this doesn't seem very useful. None of these mentioned animals whatsoever. So the first engraving is horrific. A blood-spattered skeletal figure is extending his sharp, gangly fingers out towards you as if he wants to tear you apart. In his eye sockets are two brilliant amethysts glimmering in the sun, giving the illusion that his eyes are rapidly searching for something in your vicinity. The effect is unnerving. The depiction is adorned with a single necklace, which at closer inspection is made out of human eyeballs. Well, can't sneak anything past him. He's like the NSA. He's described as Citlalli, the Lord of Dead and the ruler of the underworld. His feet is a pile of human skulls. Okay, second engraving. This is a depiction of a giant of a man, athletic and heavy set. He looks like he could crush a man's head with his fist. With eyes set at the distance, he wears a brilliant helmet studded with the colorful feathers and brandishes a burning weapon in the shape of a snake in his colossal right fist. He is described as Huitzilopoctli, the god of war and lord of Tenochtitlan. Among his feet flutter a couple of hummingbirds made out of pearl and jade. Alright, the third one. The engraving depicts a man adorned with an elongated beaked mask. He is wearing a pair of serpentine jade bracers on each arm with feathers tightly clasped in his scaled fist. His entire body is covered in jade scales and he is clothed in magnificent robes made entirely out of seemingly incandescent metal. He is described as Quetzalcoatl, god of wind and lord of the west. Beneath his waist, his legs fused together into a scaly mass of serpents. And so wasn't Quetzalcoatl the second one that was mentioned? That's probably... There was a snake on there, and that's the first one that's actually mentioned something that I understand. So let's look at the last one. Before you stands a large circular eyes, a wide grin of sharp fangs. Despite his fearsome visage, he has a relaxed posture. It does not seem like the aggressive sort. And that's Lalok. Okay. His body is shrouded by droplets made out of opals, and you barely make out silvery lightning strikes in several places behind him. He is described as Lalok, god of rain and fertility. At his feet, blue droplets intensify into a glittering shower of rain. Okay. Well, I think... Let me look at one of these once again. And that one was flowers or something. And Xochipilli. I don't think he was mentioned at all. This one was Chalchacutli. Okay, and so she's got to be third, I think. And what was she? Rivers and streams. Okay. She was like the goddess of storms, though, too, or something like that, wasn't she? So maybe... they've got to match up with the age, I think. And so she was only mentioned in the third age, whereas Quetzalcoatl was mentioned in the second age. What's the fourth one here? Engraved is a one-legged muscular man with two stripes crisscrossing his chiseled face. One of the stripes is made out of gold, while the other seems to be made out of black pearls. He seems to have lost his left leg in battle, as it ends in a bloody, jagged stump. In his left hand, he brandishes a magnificent shield and a monstrous mahuatl. He is Tezcatlipoca, lord of the north and god of judgment, is wearing a jaguar skin made... Okay, so he was first. So jaguar, snakes... I'm still sketchy on the third one. I'm sketchy on the third age. Let me look at the third age one more time. Make sure that... I hate to bore you guys with all this. Quetzalcoatl... Oh, second age was Quetzalcoatl. Okay, these aren't necessarily in order. Let me run through them one more time. The fourth world. Was that one important? Oh, shit. Okay, so... Waves and... Okay, she was the fourth age. So waves and something might be fourth? So let me see the third age one more time, because that's the only one I'm sketchy on. And that's Lalok. So Lalok was... What was he? God, I hate that I have to... Oh, he was the storm god, so he's probably like... I don't know. Let me take a look at the options here. And so... Tezcatlipoca, or whatever, the first guy with the busted leg, is obviously going to be the jaguar, because he was wearing... Let's see here. Oh, with the help of some of your translators, you interpret the text on the wall. It says, to be deemed worthy in the eyes of the gods, one must feel the warmth of the selfless sacrifices they have made for their sons and daughters. Repeat the order of all things to enter the gilded city. It seems pretty straightforward. We must somehow demonstrate the understanding of native mythology. I'll pick somebody here. Go with the wife once again. And so Jaguar was the first age, because that was the god of the first age, right? And so we do that. The second age was... Quetzalcoatl, which had a snake. That's the only animal that was mentioned on it. So we'll go with snake. And the third one was the rain god. What was his name? Lalok. That's what it was. So maybe the god of rain, Raincloud. And then What was 4? Oh yeah, 4 was Citlalli or whatever. Chat, the wave god, or the goddess of streams and waves. So we'll try that. Did it work? When Tiana presses the 4th button, the rest of the buttons slide into the gate, and a loud creaking sound betrays the inner workings of old machinery. Your procession takes a step back while the enormous door slides aside. Oh my god, we did it. This is going to be intense. I don't really know what's going to happen, but we'll take a look. We solved the puzzle, so I'd assume there's not going to be any like crazy combat or anything, one would hope. Let's take a look here. There's another treasure chest over there. We'll grab that, because you never knew. And so is there another test right here? God. Running out of time for the episode. I hope we don't have to stretch El Dorado into 2 separate episodes because, frankly, we're not really doing a whole lot. Let's take a look. You've discovered El Dorado, the legendary lost city of gold, but it's less lost now that you found it, of course, but it's a catchy name, so you may as well keep it. We entered the city, a light rain falls across the palm-lined streets of the abandoned city, and a quiet unease spreads among your people as they whisper their own theories about how a city of gold could come to be completely devoid of life. Fortunately, their spirits quickly lift when El Dorado's overgrown buildings turn out to be littered with valuable historical artifacts, all of course made out of the gold. Your expedition files into the main plaza of the city, from which you can make forays into the surrounding buildings. You think you catch a glimpse of movement out of the corner of the plaza, but when you look, there's nothing. We'll scavenge for a bit. We gain 800 valuables. The expedition moves to the old homes and gathers the valuables they can find above ground. The buildings are in a remarkable condition, leading you to wonder how recently the city was deserted. A vague sense of unease comes over you as you sift through the debris, and several times you think you hear footsteps behind you. That's no good. Your expedition once more returns to the quiet plaza. The hall was good, and yet your people don't seem quite comfortable being in this place. Vidal returns last from a foray into the houses near the gate, looking particularly ill at ease. The scout tosses her spoils unhappily into the pile. I don't like this, Capitan. I think somebody followed us in after we removed the gate, and I keep seeing movement and hearing footsteps. Nods and murmurs of agreement from the rest of your followers seem to indicate that everybody has picked up similar indications. Yeah, if everybody's got the same feeling, something's going wrong. Let's fortify our position, and we bring all of our equipment and our caravan into a circle, and a chilling war cry echoes through the abandoned streets. Arrows rain from the sky, burying themselves in the mud and bouncing off the raised shield of your troops. For a moment, everything is quiet, then 8 painted tribal warriors burst out into the plaza. So let's go ahead and we're going to solve the problem here. We're going to get down. We're going to have to bring Bernardo Trevino once again. Not that I sound too sad about it, because we like to have him with us because we lost our other lady of the day. And so we've got plenty of equipment for him, which is good. And honestly, we can equip him a little better than we could with the other lady anyways. So all in all, he's probably better all around. Let's get this battle started. We're going to cut this episode a little bit longer because I know you guys like them longer. And so that's just how it's going to be. There's only 8 of them, so I don't see, unless they're all Eagle Warriors, we could get ourselves into trouble. But up until that point, we're probably, whatever, we got guns. And it looks like, let me see, after following that last battle, I'm feeling very cautious, which is something that I don't normally feel. Looks like we've got 4 there. Where are the other 4? It said 8. Are they behind us? They are indeed. So we are pincered, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and fall back with our first turn, unless they get to move first. We've got enough spike traps to where we can kind of just milk this whole thing. And what we'll do is we'll fall back into this central area, and we'll just kind of let them do that. There's no enemies over here, I don't think, so we're not going to trap that part. And then I suppose we can deploy the cannon. I mean, we're probably not going to use it. We need to save our resources on this one. It's our turn first, so we're going to have everybody move back into the plaza, at least get a little bit of defilade from the enemy, maybe take some cheap shots. It couldn't hurt us. And so we'll fire at... This group looks to have a lot more melee, but they are within range. And actually, this is not going to give us any cover from their range, so we could get ourselves into trouble here. Taking our freebie shot, let's fall back in, hope that this whittles away at the troops that they have on hand when they come through these booby traps. I don't know if this group up above us is going to go left or right, but in any case, we'll hope that they go through some of it at least. And now that everybody has been regathered, rejoined in this central plaza, go ahead and pass our turn, and we'll see what happens here. Worst comes to worst, we'll start flinging lanterns everywhere, which seems to be a pretty fair strategy for clearing most of the game. They don't have a ton of range, so I'm not absolutely terrified about the results of what might happen here. I don't really want to fight on 2 fronts. I would definitely hate to kind of pull a World War II problem here, and Operation Barbarossa type deal could quickly get us into trouble, so I prefer to avoid that, but down goes the first guy, which is good. I'm probably going to try and gather somebody right there to get another little grip of damage thrown around, unless they advance through the hole quicker than we can deal with them. They're quick on the hole. I'm going to call him Preparation H. Well, feels cool on the hole. I don't remember what their slogan was. But in either situation, we need to get some people killed here. We need to just butcher like crazy because we want to even out the score, not necessarily fight on even terms. So, with where that's at, where's that other ranged guy at? There was another one in here. I know there was. You can't fool me. We'll step to right there and possibly bait. Well, we can use the throwing knife. There it goes. I've never used that yet. I might as well use my ninja shinobi skills to do cool stuff here. We can also probably take a shot with our doctor at him, which is only 31%, but it might happen. There you go. And that's why you take those risky shots, because it may just help you out. We'll pass our turn here. These guys are going to get injured, I would assume, by the spike traps. They're going to take a double shot there at Juan Ortega, but miss miserably. He's going to eat 2 traps and not die, but still take a sizable amount of damage, which leaves him pretty much combat ineffective. He's going to take a blow dart shot at us. And you know what? If I had used any type of strategy in the last battle, I'm so embarrassed about that last episode. I really am. Like, I wasn't really mortified with my performance until I went back and watched it again. Once I went back and watched it again, I was like, God, that was just embarrassing. It was just embarrassing. What else can you say about it? I loathe to think that we played that poorly, but when I say we, I played that poorly. It's not your guys' fault. I should have surveyed the battlefield a little bit better, but to be fair, I didn't realize how big the battlefield was. I didn't know they were going to be like a 5-minute rotation of the screen in an opposite direction, so let's go ahead and we'll kind of defer a little bit over to here and maybe start taking some damage off of these guys as best as possible. We've got an 86% chance to hit there. I'm not going to use the double shot because the double shot statistically seems like one of those things you should only use if you have a very limited chance to hit. He's going to step in to take a freebie hit. I can virtually guarantee that. But he's going to squander his opportunity, unfortunately. But that guy's going to capitalize on it, take a double shot. He's going to stun and stab us, which is way worse than just getting stabbed. But that guy is just kind of bouncing back and forth. I don't know what his overall plan is in this whole deal. We're going to deal some damage here, step forward, and this guy's going to go down on this turn. There's no way he's surviving this turn, unless just something mythically terrible occurs. And so we'll have a shot take right here, a shot taken right there, and there's another kill. And then what we'll do to shore up the discrepancy is we will actually have him step to here, I think, and then take out his knife. And this guy will step to here in order to, basically, it's going to force them to take an attack of opportunity if they want to escape, which sometimes they do. You never know. Sometimes they actually try and step away and they just eat that attack of opportunity. Other times they seem perfectly fine with their lot in life and they just kind of take the damage. I'm going to go with 31% chance to shoot right there. It worked out, which is going to speed up the combat a tad. I'll take a stab right there, and we're going to eat the attack of opportunity because we have nothing to lose. The game ends right now, and there it is. And so the battle is resolved. We are victorious, and let's take a look at what we've won here. Maybe we can go below ground and get some more goodies. The protectors of El Dorado fought to the death, refusing to yield, even as they were on the ground covered in their own blood. You search their corpses and find not a single thing of valuable. And if Vidal wipes the sweat and dirt from the battle off of her face, it looks like the coast is clear now. We should be able to search the palace and the temple in peace if you feel up to it. Teresa Sanchez frowns. That seems dangerous. We just made it out of an unexpected battle alive. Do you really wish to put us all at risk again already, Anna? Bernardo Trevino strikes up a hearty laughter. Do not be such a coward, Teresa. We've won this one, didn't we? What makes you think the next one will be any different? Let's get down there and see what this husk of a city has to offer. Gabriela Ibarro slaps Trevino on the back. You're speaking my language, friend. Lead the way. And so we're going to take a look around the city, but we will do it in the next episode. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here in the Nerd Castle for another fun-filled episode of treasure looting and scooting. And then when the enemies show up, we give them a booting, and then we log off. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care out there, everybody.